Warning, this episode contains content that may not be suitable for some listeners. Graphic depictions of violence involving a brutal attack and ultimately a murder by an axe will be discussed. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
Dark world of ritualistic child abuse.
Witchcraft.
They would sacrifice animals.
Does it make you want to hate murder, or does it make you want to do murder?
Let's explore the darkness of mankind, one crime at a time. Welcome back to Rogue Darkness, the podcast that uncovers how the misinterpretations and misinformation surrounding witchcraft, the occult, and other beliefs have led many to do unthinkable crimes. From ritualistic killings and the demons that live in all of us, to exploration of the macabre and delving deep into the unknown. Let's explore the darkness of mankind, one crime at a time. I'm your host of the Grim and Gruesome, Raven. Let's go rogue and get right into today's chilling crime. The horrific murder of Anton Shabanov after he tried seeking marital guidance from a proclaimed witchcraft practitioner and presumed healer, hoping to rekindle his relationship with his bride after she decided to separate from him less than a year into their marriage. But first, let's start off from the very beginning. In November of 2021, 33-year-old Anton Shabanov of Astrakhan, Russia, was having a difficult time dealing with his wife, Lyubov, leaving him prior to their one-year marriage anniversary. Wanting to win her back and rekindle their love and romance, after not having any success up to that point, he decided to consult with who he thought was an occult practitioner, a 32-year-old man named Nikolai Ivanov. Nikolai agreed to help Anton try and bring his wife back into his life, so they began preparing for a ritual. Nikolai asked Anton to gather some of his as well as Lyubov's possessions and said that they would need the items to perform the ritual. He intended on burying the possessions in a nearby forest in the outskirts of the city. Once all of the items were gathered, the two went into the forest and began the planned ritual. It's been reported that after the ritual had begun, Nikolai started a change in his demeanor, mocking and insulting Anton and his estranged wife Lyubov, making Anton extremely angry. Anton had never intended to ask for help from someone who only wished to bring him emotionally down, even further than he had already been. When Nikolai continued to taunt Anton without remorse, becoming increasingly angry, Anton charged at Nikolai, and a fight ensued. Without hesitation, Nikolai quickly grabbed an axe he had brought with him to the ritual and began attacking Anton with it, striking him repeatedly with several blows to Anton's head and neck. With such violent aggression and the weapon that had been used causing so much damage, Anton unfortunately died on the spot due to his gruesome injuries. After his fit of rage subsided and he realized that he had ultimately killed Anton, whether it was intentionally or as a means of self-defense, in fear, Nikolai proceeded to cover Anton's body with some branches and leaves that were nearby on the forest floor, and then he fled the scene. Upon a thorough investigation of the crime scene, the local Russian authorities were quickly able to determine that Nikolai was involved in the grim murder, and then they tracked him down, immediately putting him under arrest upon capturing him. When brought in for questioning, Nikolai didn't hold anything back, and admitted to his actions and that he had murdered Anton with an axe. Going to trial, the Provolsky District Court in Astrakhan ultimately sentenced Nikolai Ivanov to 9.5 years in prison, as well as ordering him to pay £20,700 in damages, equivalent to around $28,000. And that's a pretty lenient sentencing for committing a horrific crime such as this, if you ask me. Many of Anton's friends and family have come forward saying that they are in disbelief that he would have turned to occult rituals to woo his wife back into his life, as the duo had been reportedly living separately for some time prior to the murder taking place. The idea that Anton was in such an emotional state that he had resorted to guidance from an occult practitioner seemed very far-fetched according to his friends. In this case, Nikolai was a confirmed and previously convicted fraudster, manipulating unsuspecting victims into believing he could help them improve their situations through occult rituals, and Anton was unfortunately one of his unsuspecting victims. May Anton now rest in peace. His name will never be forgotten. So that was the disturbing case of the brutal axe murder of Anton Shabanov, and how his desire to rekindle his marriage led to his unfortunate and untimely demise. The fact that Nikolai used the premise of occultism to manipulate and swindle individuals to his benefit is extremely angering and paints occultism in an ongoing negative light, even though Nikolai himself was a fraud and had no connection to true witchcraft. This case outlines how evil comes in many forms, and that some may use the mask of witchcraft as a means to lure others into their malicious plan. Let me know your thoughts on this case, and if you have any questions regarding it, feel free to contact me at roguedarknesspod@gmail.com. You can also reach me on Instagram or Twitter at rogue_darkness, or on my website, www.roguedarkness.com. As always, be sure to share the pod with anyone you think who would like it, and also be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, or wherever else you can leave a review to let other listeners know you enjoy the show. And if you want some personalized shoutouts and other exclusives, definitely check out my Patreon by visiting patreon.com/roguedarkness. You can also check out my bonfire shop if you want to get your hands on some Rogue Darkness merch. As always, all the links for everything mentioned are down in the description box of every episode. And with that said, that concludes this week's episode of Rogue Darkness. The darkness is all around us, and I can confidently say that reality truly is more terrifying than fiction. Until next time.